Hello, everyone. Welcome into On Cable Tonight. I'm your host, Loretta McNary, and we have a great show for you today. Whether you're unemployed, employed, looking for a job, have a good job, and there's no one better to help us with this conversation than the Director of Career Services at Lemoyne On, and that is Dr. Danita Hedgeman. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
I'm so excited about this topic because it's summertime, so we have tons more people looking for jobs. We have students, college and high school, and then people who, just been looking for a while. So hopefully you can give them some tips to help.
Yes, I would love to.
So kind of give us your background, what you do as a Director of Career Services, and then we'll, so they'll know how awesome you are at this topic, and they'll take it to heart while they get pen and pencil to take some good notes.
Okay. Well, I oversee a department, and what we do, we screen, we prepare students to apply for internships, part-time jobs, as well as full-time jobs. And we also help them with graduate school opportunities as well.
Oh, so when you say we help them, are you guys have a hub of people that work with you, like employment companies that are looking for people, and they say, hey, we have this, we need that, and you guys kind of point them in the right direction?
Yes, other companies, they send in job descriptions, and they're always looking for employees, and basically they'll send in a job description, and usually students have to register with me, and then I will refer those students to the companies. I might send the resumes, set up their interviews, give the students mock interviews to prepare them for those interviews, and then hopefully they will get hired.
Okay, so how tough are you in your mock interviews?
Very tough.
Well, they say she's very, very tough.
Yes, because it's a process, and sometimes when people come into a career center, they think that they automatically will get a job just because they go to that college. But no, everyone has a different skill set. So since companies are looking for skills, they have to, of course, fill out an application, a goal-setting form, so I can assess them. We have to get other information on them, and then when I give them the mock interviews, I'm going over with their professional dress, questions that they need to ask. We teach them how to research for the company as well. So it's a drill, and I grade them. So then if they don't pass that, then they cannot be referred.
Ooh, so you do take this serious. Okay, so I know when I'm on either side of that table years ago when I was looking for a job, and then when I was also in corporate America in HR, and we always ask, well, do you have any questions? And then people say no, and then when I was on that side and they asked me, I said, no, you pretty much explained everything, but you really should have a question, at least one or two handy.
I tell them between 3 and 5, because if the company is telling them about the job, then more than likely they've answered about 1 to 2 of their questions. So have 3 to 5 questions ready to ask. Never say that. That is a turnoff if you say, no, I don't have any other questions.
Okay. So what are some of the questions then that they should ask? What's a couple of questions that when you're in your interview and then get to that critical moment, do you have any questions? Whatever samples of a question.
First, they're not supposed to ask them anything about salary.
So never discuss salary at your interview.
Right. So then they could ask them, well, do you have a 90-day period, like probation period?
That's a good one.
What are you looking for in a candidate? How did you get started? What is a typical first day for me? Okay. So, things like that.
So what about this answer when they say, well, tell me about you. So, well, I want your job. Isn't that a no-no? People think that's impressive, but that's such a turn-off.
No, that is your 60-second elevator speech. So in 60 seconds, you should sell yourself, and you don't ever tell them anything personal.
Right.
So you basically, my name is blah, blah, blah. I'm a senior at whatever college. If you're a student now, if you are an adult, you don't have to say all of that. You start telling them about your skills and your strengths and what you can do and what you're looking for in your objective.
Okay. I like that you said in the beginning that companies hire skills. So they're not necessarily hiring people, they are hiring skills, a skill set that they're looking for.
Yes. Do you have analytical skills, communication skills, critical thinking, all of that the job would entail. And that's what people don't understand. They think they have 10 years of experience, and that's good. You are supposed to have experience, but a lot of times you can transfer your skills to really any industry.
Absolutely, because if you've been in like the medical field and now you want to go into the legal field, or you want to go into customer service, or you want to go into sales, something within your experience should lead over to make you a great candidate for another industry.
Exactly.
Okay, good, because some people do stay in that box and they won't apply for jobs outside of that.
Right.
But they should, because it's skills, not the job title, not the industry. It's the skill set that you have, your qualifications. Okay, that's a good way to look at that. I like that. Yeah. So when you talk about dress code, because you know our kids today have their own idea of what they can go on the interview wearing, and then they wonder why they don't get the job. So you still should do the traditional suit.
Corporate suit, yes. And
a black or blue or
well, I say navy blue, gray, taupe, or brown, solid colors. You can do pinstripes. I'm kind of old-fashioned, so I would like for the ladies to wear the skirt. You know, you really need to research and check with the company. If they're okay with you wearing a pantsuit, you can. If they're okay with you wearing black, and we say black and social etiquette means formal. So if that company is strictly navy blue, brown, taupe, gray, you go with that. Okay. Make sure that the skirt does not come above your knees when you sit down. And ladies do not like to hear this, but I don't care if it's 105 degrees outside, please wear stockings, closed-in shoes.
Yes, definitely closed-in shoes.
Right.
I definitely agree with that.
Nothing dramatic. Just I like pearls or
minimal amount of jewelry. You know how we like to have our bling bling on. So when you're going for a job, now when you get the job, that can change. You want to see what the corporate culture is once you get there. But for interviews, you still want to keep the traditional, the classic look. Just minimal jewelry, not big dangles hanging from your ears.
And the guy's 100% white cotton button-down shirt with a solid colored tie. So if he does not have a shirt or really a suit jacket, then he can wear the shirt. Right. So make sure, because some guys like to wear the blue shirts. If it's a conservative company, wear the white.
Yeah, and you can't lose with that. So you don't have to guess, are they conservative or are they not? Go ahead and go with the white cotton shirt. And then once you get hired, then you can talk about other colors, schemes, and everything.
And that can be a question you can ask at the end. What is your dress code? And they'll tell you.
Yeah, see, giving you some good questions, because I'm telling you, that is so critical in an interview if you can ask a question of the interviewee, interviewer. So let's move along to, okay, let's say two applicants are the same in education and experience. How does an employer, potential employer, decide what's the deciding factor for who's going to get the job?
I always tell people everywhere I go, and I ask this one question that people can't ever answer. What is the one thing about you that stands out among all the other applicants? It's going to be something that is slightly different.
Or should be.
Yes, so I mean, when I say brag about yourself, you need to brag about yourself. It could be a GPA if they're looking for a certain GPA. That person has a higher GPA. This person only has 2 years of experience, but the other candidate has 5 years of experience. This person might be bilingual. I always tell them to learn another skill, another foreign language. You might know the whole Microsoft Word Office. This person might not. So they're looking for the it factor.
Like they do in the entertainment industry. They're looking for that. Yeah, so now because jobs are so competitive, because we have this high, still it's down some, but it's still a relatively high number for our unemployment rate here in Tennessee. You know, in the nation, but actually ours is lower than the national average right now. But it's still a competitive job market. So now you have what they call the baby boomers still, you know, in their jobs, and they're getting ready to retire. So we have to have the other generation of adults coming in to fulfill these positions, going against all this experience, but these people have now the education. So how does that framework look for somebody who's looking for a job? They don't necessarily have all the experience, but now they have the education.
That's why I tell them to volunteer for everything.
That is so critical.
Paid or non-paid experience. Companies look at that. If you've had awards, then say, I won Employee of the Month at Nike. You know, I don't care, even in high school, I was the band, captain of the band, and I won Who's Who in America. You need to put all that on there.
And that's for those that are first getting their first job, and those who are seeking other jobs as well. To brag a little. But make sure it's truth and honesty. You know, because some people, you know, you look good on paper, and I have people that I interviewed, and then I see them in person, I'm like, there's no way that this is the same person. So make sure that you're very honest, because there are certain ways that we can check to make sure that's true or not.
They will check. And also, not only only do they do background checks, but it's very important about the social media. And I always tell people to be careful what they put on Facebook, because now companies go through and they look at potential candidates. And if you're posing a certain way, or your friends are cursing on your page, or just something that's derogatory, they're not going to hire you.
Yeah, that's the lead killer. And that's the first thing they look at now is social media. They check it out your Facebook page to see what your posts are, see, like you said, your picture, what it looks like. And that stuff stays with you. Just because you delete it does not mean it's not still there. It's still there. So be very mindful of how you're posting on Facebook and Twitter. So look at that. And I know some people will be on the job and talk, oh, my boss is this and that. I'm like, are you serious? Like, your boss can't. So we don't want our new employees doing these kind of mistakes, because it will cost you your employment. In a heartbeat. And you won't know why they fired you. They'll just all of a sudden say it's not working out. But generally it'll lead back to your posts and social media. So be careful of that. So what are some other things that you tell, like, let's say a seasoned student that you have, someone who's been in the job market, they went back to school, now they have their degree in marketing or whatever, and they want to get out there and compete against younger workers. How do you prepare them?
Not to probably date themselves now, because trends are changing. So even though you might be old school, and I tell you about the corporate look, but still don't look like, you know, you just came out in 1965. I mean, you could be that old, but you know what I mean. But I would tell them to now really look at that technology, because the younger generation knows the technology, and a lot of older employees don't know how to do it. They go, oh, well, my child can show me how to do this computer, or they better learn that.
Yeah, you have to learn. Every industry, regardless of, you know, whatever your job is, whether it's bringing up orders at McDonald's or, you know, putting in a customer service order, you have to have some kind of technology experience and knowledge. So, and there are tons of places where you can get this for free too. So,
I mean, even like, I think Memphis Urban League, Memphis Area Career Center, you can go and get trained and learn those different computer skills.
So what about resumes now? Are they, do you tell them 1 page, 2 page, 3 page, or just put everything on there?
Like 1 page. I would say not to go back 10 years. Now, sometimes you have to have a page and a half, depending on what you know, your experience, but you can fix those margins. You know, you can put like 0.8 all the way around, and you don't have to have as much white space. Instead of maybe bulleting, you could have some sentences. So, and just be to the point. They just really, it takes a good interviewer 10 to 15 seconds to glance at your resume and to know if they're going to put you in the to be interviewed stack.
Okay, what about cover letters? Are they still the thing to do now? Because some people don't want to do cover letters. They feel like it's an extra something that I don't want to do, but it makes a world of difference.
Yes, it makes you stand out. Now, if they don't ask you for one, like if you're blindly applying for a job, then yes, you do need to do a cover letter. But say like if you're going through an agency or like going through career services, they might just say, send me about 10 resumes. And I notice though still, if a student takes it upon him or herself to add a cover letter, they're usually going to get an interview. And I ask the company why, because they did something that was different.
Did that extra.
They stood out, because sometimes you have that 1-page resume, but you didn't put really the experience that they're looking for. So you can say, it's not noted on my resume, I still for 2 years worked at blah, blah, in customer service, and you let them know that. Because again, you have to tailor make your resume or cover letter to that job description, because sometimes they scan them. And if then the scanner doesn't pick up those keywords that were in that job description, again, you might not be
you won't get the interview.
Right, you won't get to the interview. And that's what you want, to get to the interview.
I always felt like if I could just get an interview, I could get the job. And I have, my son's like that. If he can get an interview, he pretty much can decide whether or not he wants the job, because he too knows that it's competitive. And he knows to wear his, if he doesn't do the entire suit, he will do a white shirt and a tie, and of course dress slacks and dress shoes. And he'll arrive early, because if you're on time, you're late. And one thing I always told them, and I don't know if you tell your students too, the night before, 2 days prior, go and check out the place. Go get directions and go, you know, time your route. And take alternate routes. Like if you know it's going to be a railroad track, then what's another route? Because it's usually going to be a train, you know, expressway. What are the other streets to get to that place? You know, just in case you have to get off the expressway. But we always say 15 minutes, you know, arrive 15 minutes before, no earlier or no later, because sometimes you can still make the receptionist a little, you know,
uneasy. You're sitting there
Yeah.
30, 40 minutes before. And,
I usually would tell them to sit in the car, at least till it's according to, because you might get there a little earlier.
Yeah.
So what about when they're at the interview and they had to get a ride, and what about their family and friends, their driver? Do you
That
tell
is a
them to
no-no.
please keep them in the car?
Yes,
Under
don't
no
even let them know
circumstances
that.
should you go in.
Yeah, please don't, because you
Okay.
won't get the job.
Yeah.
You bring in friends, relatives, children, your telephone, you have your telephone on, all of that. That's a no-no.
Oh my goodness, it's so many tips, and these things actually work, because now looking for a job is your job.
Yes.
You have to take it very, very serious, because as we've said, it's so competitive, where you just used to have a few people looking for this kind of job. Now you have people who have done other things, but they have a skill set, because maybe in their previous job they did some filing, or they did some customer service, or they created some promotional material. So now they can apply for a marketing assistant position. So you really have to make looking for a job your job.
Right, and they have to realize they're not the only one looking, like what we said earlier. So not only you have people who've been in the job market maybe say 30 years, and then they've gotten laid off. So now they have all these years of experience. You just graduated and you just only have a degree. Then you have people who relocate to your city. You still have Katrina victims and other people who are still looking for the same jobs you are. So you're gonna have to keep abreast of the market. You're gonna have to study each company and know how you're gonna make that company really prosper. And I always tell my students, there are really two types of companies. When I say two types, meaning